Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. Very disappointing loss for the Auburn Tigers. Second week in a row, Auburn gets up, gets the lead, then surrenders it, and then plays just start to get real inconsistent. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Auburn dropping a 30-22 game against South Carolina. A lot of questions, a lot of frustration among the fan base, and rightfully so. This is absolutely a game that Auburn should not have lost. I thought Auburn got off to a great start. Even to be able to have a chance late says a lot about the potentiality of this team. But for the second week in a row, Auburn gets up, looks like they're building some momentum, looks like they're building some balance, and then things just start to kind of slowly fall apart. You can kind of see the play calling start to change, shift a little bit. You start to see a little bit more inconsistency on defense. One stat that I noticed, though, is Auburn is really losing the battle between the middle of the second quarter and, say, around the middle of the third quarter. For 2 weeks in a row, Auburn has been outscored during that period of time. This week, it really getting out of hand as Auburn was allowed over 27 points between the second and the third quarter, being outscored again. One of the main criticisms of this game today, in my opinion, is the relationship between Chad Morris and Bo Nix is absolutely not working out right now. For one, I think Chad Morris is really misdiagnosing Bo Nix's skill set, because you have a quarterback that's not particularly accurate. I mean, he's no Tom Brady, and no quarterback like that, but he's a very skilled he's a very skilled athlete. I'm not going to say that he's a good quarterback, because in this system, he does not have the appearance of a good quarterback, at least not yet. And the not yet is starting to kind of run out. But either way, you don't put a quarterback who has shown signs of inconsistencies, you don't ask him to throw the ball 47 times. I just think that is irresponsible. That is just bad. To me, that's just calling a spade a spade. It's just bad football. And then on the other hand, 47 passes, and you kind of throwing it to the same two guys, Seth Williams, Anthony Schwartz. Every team knows that that's where the ball is typically going to go. I did see, starting to get Xavion Capers a little bit more involved. And I mean, he made some pretty good plays. But this passing game is not working. It's not working. They're not spreading the ball around. They're 47 attempts, less than 300 yards, grossly ineffective. Another beef that I have with this Chad Morris offense is the fact that the run game, although productive, I mean, it'll make the highlight reel, but it's not scaring nobody. Tank Bigsby's going to get him, if you give him the ball 10 times, he's going to get close to 100 yards. But they don't do it enough to keep defenses off balance. Because if you notice with South Carolina was actually able to keep Auburn's defense off balance. One, they had good field position pretty much the whole game via turnovers, things like that. But at the same time, they utilized their strong running back, and he made the right plays at the right time, consistent enough to keep Auburn off balance to where they could take some shots downfield throwing the football. But Auburn, their offense seems is continuing to seem very telegraphed, because they're not utilizing the run game, I don't think, as they should. Because as Tank Bigsby is running the football, there's no way I'm not feeding him 25 times a game. He's getting more rushes than 16 yards a game. I'm throwing this kid the ball out of the backfield. I'm getting DJ Williams with that 1-2 punch thing going on. Then I'm taking some shots downfield. I'm creating some balance. This offense is not balanced. 47 pass attempts. Basically, your main running back gets 16 yards. Bo Nix makes some things happen in the pocket. He actually gets some pretty good rushing stats as well. But right now, the balance is the issue. And first drive, great. First couple of drives, you see things start to make sense. But then things start to fall apart for the Tigers. And I think that's where your leadership comes in. That's where your coaching comes in. The situational coaching, not good at all. Not good at all. Still struggling to get scores, touchdown scores in the red zone. 22 points after jumping out 10 points. 9 points. Actually having a 16-7 lead at one time, only to kick 2 more field. That's not the kind of offense you need to be paying a guy hundreds of thousands of dollars to run. So Auburn is definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure. I think Gus Malzahn might want to get back involved with calling plays. I think he needs to coach Chad Morris as to what he expects. If Gus Malzahn can be the player developer that he could possibly be, you can't let this continue to happen, because Chad Morris is not utilizing the talent that he has and relying way too much on Bo Nix, who is not playing with any surmountable level of confidence at this point. The player is visibly frustrated on the sideline. 30-22 loss for the Auburn Tigers next week against Ole Miss. We're going to have some coverage on that. Hopefully the Auburn Tigers will be able to rebound. Ole Miss will present some challenges, especially offensively, as they've had. Auburn goes on the road again to Oxford. It's going to be a very challenging football game for the Tigers, and we'll get to see how things progress from this week to next week. It's kind of looking for a little bit more in the running game. But once again, congrats to the South Carolina Gamecocks getting their first win over Auburn since 1933. Very disappointing loss for the Tigers, but hopefully a bounce back next week. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn, and as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.